This is Gerald van Waas and the educational channel related with the book Sound Inform. There are also two volumes of this. The Sound Inform is the double volume, and you also have the development of the word with some extra pages with a few examples, and the application of the word, the second part of this book. Second part is also about scripts and the region of scripts and the steering mechanisms in scripts, and it also gives some examples in real life, in history. But the development of the word is about the meaning of sounds, of letters, and how to combine them, and that you can learn how to recognize this. These couple of videos, the latest ones, is also a contribution so that you can learn it also intuitively more and more, because you see also examples how you have to combine certain letters and how you can combine them actually very easily once you grasp it. Easily is maybe a small word, because it takes some experience, and it's best that you read as much as you can, and you don't have to remember everything which is in it. For some of it is study, and is also some examples. But in fact, the general rule is that you can fall back on a couple of parameters, and you can check them out if you're not making any mistakes by checking what has already been investigated before. Okay, enough of this. The complete study is available at Trafford, and it's also available in some distribution channels. So today I will interpret some words with N and E, the two letters N and E, and make some combinations. And I have some examples in Dutch, English and German language. So I have N on end, NEN, NEIN, NEK, NEK, the Dutch and English, net, then the German word NEU, nerd, and the Dutch word NEUS. All of them will be explained and are different combinations with mostly N and E. So the N is, of course, how do I have to interpret? N is some volume into an area. So a partial volume into an area. This can in fact be somewhere in this range. So there is a certain range where you can add it. Depending on the context, you can add the N there or recognize the N there somewhere. It's even there, as you can see as in the last example. And it will be combined with E most of the time. The E is an extension towards somewhere that it evolves, that it is extending, and so on. These two combinations. On its own, the N should not be into a square. You can have it can be part of another form, of course, as well. It can be a different orientation. It can even be within a circle. But once you start to point this into the circle, you no longer have the association of E, but for instance that one of the O, the O we already know as the circle of the environmental circle. So there I make the difference between on, because there is the N into the O is the on, so it finds a region where it can fit. The O is about regions, and the N is more, okay, this is about measurements, like the square, and I make an attachment. So with the E I have to, of course, also make this evolutionary process of becoming visible. So that's why I also have some extra forms there, so that I can show it that there is an evolution. So there is an attachment, there is a change of what is going to be formed into the N, into a formation that I have there. So the N, the meaning of N is like N, and. So in English it's written as and or with, and so on. And on is more a placement in an environment, while N can be about connection, making connections and connect them and so on. But of course, this N can be in different directions, as you can see. So I will add these three. Let's make the most obvious connections there. So I will end with that last example. And I will also compare the N with and, written as N, with and in English. And you can see I have to add it in the middle because it's A, and it's also about connection, about an attachment. While you also have the word and with an E, it's pronounced the same way, but it is with the letter A as a true connection point. So this focus is slightly changed because when it is written as and, I have to focus not onto the middle of the square, but onto the middle of what I have there with the how you can hear it as and. So in the orientation that I have already there, so but in the middle of it, so I have there the orientation with and, while with end it is a little bit further away. So my focus is slightly changed from a certain middle point with end, so that I have a real connection point with end with an E is something which is like the E in progress, in extension and so on. So it is slightly moved towards the edges, as you can see. The next word which starts with NE, I will take the longer letter of E, so NE, and when I stretch it outwardly, you can see it's also going to move itself away from the original focus. So it is no longer within focus, it's no longer within reach. Nee is a Dutch word which means no. So the no is going to focus outside, but how it is being written as NEN, or how we also with more emphasis also pronounce it as NEN. You can see that there is taken out volume, so that you no longer have access to, or you take out. So this is the NEN or no. And with a little bit of color, it is much more clear what you do here. It's the N with A combined and another N. So it is taking out something. So it's excluding something, as you can see. It's not only no longer within focus or within reach, it's also deliberate excluding it. And in the German version of the word, NEIN, it is pronounced a little bit different, so it also has the E in it. So the E is an insertion, so you deliberately make an impulse there that you also say like, no, I also will say what is not included. So I will also fill it in, what is not included. So the emphasis is slightly different. But I have more words with ne as a combination. It is, I can say why it is on the right there, because the E has to be outwardly, so it is more practical when I have to end with E to go outwardly, that I start from the top right. So what shall I do? With the next example, I will add a K. So NEK is a Dutch word, which is English also NEK, what is written with a K. So there is, it is breaking apart somewhere at the edges. Has a breaking point at the edges. has a breaking point at the edges, and with the C added in the English version, it also has a certain range of movements of the breaking part, and it has a certain range until it breaks. It can break. So the NEK has that kind of focus. Net, the next word, it will focus on the T. The T will be a measuring point. This measurable point of the T will be our main focus. So the underlying is net, but with possibilities of finding within that a connection or a measurable point. So it is actually saying like a net is also like like a fishing net it can be, or a network it can be. There can be a lot of things, but at the end is you find something that you can measure it there, and it is within reach. That is more or less what the word means, that you can grasp it within reach of this network. Does not say necessary that it is connected, but it is connectable. That's more what you have there. And if you multiply it a little bit and you add some variations, you can see how the network has a couple of possibilities. Net has a lot of meanings. It also has several meanings that are related with judgments. Like you say, okay, it is neat, it is elegant, it is fine. So all these kind of judgments say that it is within within reach of the limits. Sometimes it is added, sometimes it is not added. So it's not always, it is into this progress of energy, let's say, that it has some variations within a certain reach. It has parameters. It can be reached, or it's at some points it will not be reached. We also have the word netto, for instance, also as net, expressed as net, and also there it will focus upon the parts that are within reach, that you say that by the energy that you put in it, this is what it is within reach. That is more or less what is in the meaning of the sounds there. And from NE we will go to NEU. It's another letter. Is E plus U. So U is always something which is information, which is not completely formed yet. So the best thing with NE is a follow-up of events that is neutral, but it is in a kind of materialization, and it is forming itself, and it's forming itself to find a certain position. That is the actually. So it's forming itself gradually, or in parts actually as well. So I can express it with this form very easily. NEU actually is also a German word, but it is expressed as NEU, but it is written as NEU, so it should have the structure of NEU as I have designed it. But because it is pronounced as NEU, it should have connection points within the structure with an O and a Y, which I expressed there. So the O is a kind of environment, so you come into the environment of the E, then come to the environment, into the position, and with Y you connect it. So it is added, deliberately added, and you come within reach of this forming, materialization. So it is deliberately added that something can be formed, can be reached, and that is more or less the meaning of the word NEU, which means new. The next word with NE is coming close to NE is nerd. Nerd is an English word, of course, and this has some extra letters to it, so that it will have an extra change into this focus. So we have the R of a process that is connected there within this reach, and the T has to reach the results at the end. The nerd is actually, yeah, like the movement inwards, that you, like a movement inwards. You can almost see the glasses of the nerd and the movement inwards to as it is expressed, and that's how you also express the nerd. You almost need the glasses as a way, as a matter of speaking. Even this way how he looks, it fits quite well of this inner movement process that is extended and is in progress and is getting larger the whole time. And then the last word, I have NEUS or NEUS. So the same region of NEU is extended with the S. So the S should be in this middle region there. And there it should form, as an N, it should form its volume of formation. So here is the nose. It is actually, the nose is very recognizable. And even if I take again image that pops up at a Google search, you can see where the nose is pointing at. Okay, I hope you enjoyed. There were some other examples so that you gradually can grasp how combinations of letters are done to show which orientations our words have, also in our focus and how the words are formed. You can learn to see them also more clearly, hopefully thanks to these videos. These were also examples that are not in the books, but they are a fine addition to especially development of the word, or to especially that book, or if you have the sounding form, the first 2 volumes together. Okay, you have the theory as a foundation, and then you can continue from there by watching the videos and learn a bit more and have more experience, because experience is the last thing that you still need to add before it is truly available to play with it. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This was Gerald van Was again. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I try to update my website now and then. Thanks again. Bye bye.